He is Cole Bauman, the overtime game winner, and of course the head coach, Eric Mabie. Fellas, thanks for joining me tonight. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Again, thanks for taking time out to be with us here tonight. Coach, I'm going to start with you. Such a thrilling victory, but were you surprised by how quick that overtime goal was scored?
I wouldn't say surprised. I think I felt like we had a lot of chances there through the second and third period to throw a few pucks in the net, and they weren't going in for us at the time. But we know we have a lot of guys on this team that could score big goals, and I know they were all chomping at the bit to get out there for overtime. And once that happened, and I mean, we've had that same rush play throughout the whole year, and it's not a play that I love for these guys doing, but it worked out really well in that moment. It's maybe one that we have to draw back on a little bit, but once Shane Tomlinson made a great play on the wall, getting it to Cole, and then Cole bumping it over to Jake Court. And I mean, as Cole will tell you, Jake and Shane are both really good at finding him, and Jake made a great play, and Cole finished it off, so it was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, Cole, if you don't mind, walk us through that that turn of events, if you will, after the face-off, the puck down in your zone, and what led up to you getting the blast for that game-winning goal.
Yeah, it was interesting because, we lost the draw and then it went back in our zone and we're all kind of like, oh, shoot, we got to get this thing out. And the puck actually went around the boards like a rim, and I lifted a guy's stick, and then Shane Tomlinson, who's actually a center, ended up being on the wall, which was honestly just worked out perfectly because he bumped it to me in the middle there. And I was able to skate the puck out and move it over to Jake, and then he kind of just threw a nice sauce through the middle, and it just happened to land on my stick and took it backhand, and here we are.
And it happened so fast. I know sometimes, obviously, you'd like to be in a championship scenario, Coach, where you've got a 3-goal lead with 2 minutes left, so you can kind of prep yourself for it. What was your immediate reaction? I'll start with you, Coach, after the goal went in.
Yeah, I think it was really special because the last couple of times that we've won, and I've been a part of it, we've had the lead late in the third period, so you're kind of preparing for it. But this being just a sudden win, and like I truly felt like we were carrying that game for the majority of it, and it wasn't really going our way, and the guys really stuck to it. And the biggest thing for me was just seeing how the guys never really faltered. Like there's times where our bench, you could feel it's kind of iffy here and there in certain moments, but in that game, it was perfect the whole time. And going out for overtime, we, as a coaching staff, we're just talking about how we know something's going to happen here. And I know it's cliche, but being able to send those 3 over the boards there early, and Braden Doherty and Aiden McCarthy being able to make some plays on the back end to get them going, and then that puck going in, it was definitely a bit of a relief. I think I don't think deserves the right way to put it, but we feel like we earned that one, and being able to cap it off was really great.
Cole, going into that game, we were talking up in the press box, and even that morning, how we thought it was going to be a shootout, and this is no dig at your defense. It's just Oklahoma State. They've got a reputation for scoring a lot of goals, and so do you guys. And it was a crazy game to me in the respect that it had that feel. It was a track meet. I was exhausted after calling that game, and I can't even imagine you guys down on the ice. But were you surprised it was only 3-2?
I mean, I know we had, I think it was 21 goals in the first 2 games, and they also had a great tournament scoring wise. But I think going into that game, we knew that they're sort of a similar opponent to we are. Like we have really heavy offense, so I thought maybe it would be a little bit more of a high scoring game, but we were just really similar teams, and we just battled it out. Like it could have been, a couple more chances and that went in. It could have been a lot of a high scoring game, but we sort of just battled it out, and that was just the way that it happened, I guess.
How as a player do you not get frustrated when you get all those scoring chances? Because I agree with Coach Mabie. I thought you guys took the play to them. How do you not get frustrated? It's a true testament to your discipline, I think. But talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, me especially. I actually had a 2-on-1 late in the game, I think around like 2 minutes left, and we were tied, and I missed the net, and then I had another chance where I went back in with I think a minute left. So it was definitely like a little frustrating in the moment coming back to the bench, but I really just had to try and keep my cool and like trust in the team that we were gonna get it done no matter what happened, and it worked out. So
Well, it certainly did, obviously, with that thrilling
yeah.
victory. We're joined here on the Power Play by Florida Gulf Coast head coach Eric Mabie and game-winning overtime goal scorer Cole Bauman. Coach, I look at the stats. It's something I'm a nerd. I look at all this stuff all year long, and the biggest thing that stood out to me was you had 14 different goal scorers in pool play.
Yeah.
Not even the semis and the finals. I mean, that just blows me away.
Yeah, I mean, all year our depth is our biggest weapon. I mean, we truly have 4 lines that we feel like we could throw out at any moment against any other team's lines, and I think that's what ended up paying dividends in the long run throughout the week, being able to build out some good leads on some teams and distribute ice time. Even going into that final game, we knew Oklahoma State's a pretty top-heavy team, and they run their 7 or 8 guys into the ground pretty hard, and obviously they were missing 1 or 2 key guys that day, and we were prepared for that either way, whether they played or not. But having that sort of depth and being able to turn those guys over as much as we can, and obviously there's some dispersion of ice time between our 4 lines, but we truly believe that all 4 of our lines can produce in any given moment, and there was guys stepping up, scoring big goals. I mean, you look at the goal that tied the game in the 3rd period where Anthony Zebley, who joined us in the 2nd semester, and scores a big goal there 5 minutes into the 3rd. And I mean, even Cole scores 8 goals on the week, but he's the first guy to tell you that he loves scoring goals, but he's happy to see the other guys do it. And it worked out really well for everybody. And just our depth it's really special for us, and we take pride in it. I don't think that when you're playing 5 games in 6 days, you can do it with 10 or 11 guys. And we had 23 guys on our roster that were all pulling the rope, and it worked out really well.
So I want to go back to the start of the season. Cole, I'll start with you. Obviously last year didn't end the way you wanted it to. And this year it came out, you guys had some new guys on the team, as it happens every year. Number one, I want to ask you, how long did it take the new guys to buy into the system and your mentality? Because that's one thing I've noticed with your team throughout the years. Every year that I've covered you guys over the last decade, you've got a winning tradition. How long did it take them to buy in? And how much of last year's result played into your motivation this year?
Yeah, so I'm actually a transfer, so this was my first year as well. I'm a junior, so I've played 2 years of college, but coming in, like all the guys that have been here for however many years, were just super welcoming. And, as soon as you walk in that locker room and we had our first practice, like you can just tell that it's a winning culture and everybody sort of just bought into that. And I know a lot of the guys that were on the team last year talked about how heartbreaking it was losing, like going to the national tournament and losing, and especially like they had that triple overtime. I know that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
But and then the semifinal losses, and they definitely talked about it a good amount during the year, and just even at the tournament, just saying how much it's heartbreaking. And we just kind of all bought in this year, and we just didn't want that to happen again, especially to those seniors, because it meant a ton to them.
Coach, we all know that this was your ultimate goal. I think everybody's goal is to win a tournament and win the nationals. But realistically, I know you guys were one of the top teams going in. It proved it in the rankings all throughout the year. But how difficult is it for a coach to keep the guys motivated in November and December when it's kind of the doldrums, if you will, the middle of the schedule?
Yeah, I think a big thing for us is that, like Cole was saying, there's an expectation to win. And there's an expectation of the guys that have played here winning the first championship in 2012 and the handful that have followed. A lot of the alumni still being involved, and I get calls every day asking about these guys. And I think it's just the weight that these guys carry, where they don't care who they're playing, where we're playing. We played some great teams throughout the year, but they expect to show up. And the big thing for our program is I think that the guys really enjoy getting everybody's best shot every single night. We know that when teams come down to Florida or when we play them on the road, that it's probably highlighted on their schedule throughout the year. and we don't want to give them much. I mean, the only 2 losses on the season were to Lindenwood and Northeastern, and Northeastern got us late in the season, and then we got them again in nationals. But I mean, Lindenwood ended up beating us 3 times in 3 1-goal games essentially, and they were a great team, and I think they deserve to be at that tournament, and that's a whole other discussion. But I think the season and how it goes, and the guys prepare every single day, and they take pride in winning. They take pride in owning that jersey and representing FGCU and showing up every single day to get wins. And I think the final record was 30-4. And like you say, the doldrums of the season, but those are the times I think when they can really build their game and get confidence and believe in each other. And they did a great job of that.
Well, I agree with that. And I think the good teams show that they don't take days off and games off. And that's proof in the pudding with your record, you know?
I'll touch on that too. Even back in, early in the season, November, whenever it was, Coach Mabie always let us know, this is early in the season, but we're playing for that tournament at the end of the year. And he kind of always just like let us know that and had us ready to go no matter who we were playing. And I mean, we did well during the season and because of that mentality right there.
So I want to go back to the regionals. And again, that's another discussion we can have for another day. And just for the record, I'm in agreement with you, Coach, but we'll leave it there. Cole, you guys were down 1-0 after the first period in that opening game. And then you guys just like bulldozed through the rest of it. What was the message, if any, that coach or some of the assistants may have given you guys after that first period when you were down, because you came out like a different team?
Yeah, it was definitely a bit interesting going in the locker room after the first, being down to a team that we're supposed to beat. So I think really just coach in the locker room was pretty relaxed and just letting us know, like, I mean, we just traveled, we were on the road, it was our first period, and maybe we didn't have our best period, but he just kind of let us know, like, we're gonna be fine, just keep playing our game, and the chances will come. And then we finally got one there, and then we kind of just took off from there and played our game again.
Coach, you guys rode that momentum, winning those the regional games and then getting into nationals. You won the first 2 games convincingly. And the reason I bring that up, because in my opinion, besides the championship game, I thought the most impressive win you had was that overtime victory over Weber State, because if I'm not mistaken, you guys had pretty much had it clinched going into that game, and you still didn't. I mean, you kept enough, vision, and were able to complete 3 games in the pool play.
Yeah, the big thing for us going into that game, I mean, knowing the situation there's so many different things that go into pool play, but I think we could have lost by like 6 goals and still advanced or something. But the big thing we talked about is that we were going there to win 5 games, and Weber State, we knew, was a high-quality opponent, and they gave us a great game. And I think looking back on it, that was probably the best thing that could have happened to us, is that, we went through Northeastern and Wisconsin, and I'd be lying if I said I thought we would beat them by a score of 21-1 combined. I mean, that's a lot, and I know we're a good team, but they're really good teams as well, and things were going our way. And then that Weber State game really kind of gave us a, hey, like, we're in this tournament, there's good teams here, which the guys know, they respect their opponents, but having that experience of, I mean, we trailed that entire game. We were down 1-0 for a long time there. I think we ended up tying it up in the third, actually, something like that. And being able to have that experience to draw back on, and then going into overtime, all the guys knew that we had already advanced, but they wanted to get that thing done. And as deep of a lineup that we have, I think if you talk to anybody on our team, they know that Jake Cord, Shane Tomlinson, and Cole Bauman, I mean, we expect them to drive the bus for us up front, and they end up getting that overtime winner there as well. And it was a big win for us. And I think if you lose that game, the guys are still feeling good going to the semifinals. Yeah. But being able to get that win and have that moment, and then get the day off after that to reconvene and get ready for the Final Four, it was a good opportunity for us to feel good about ourselves and build on some strong suits and obviously dissect the weaknesses in our game. But ultimately, it worked out really well.
So, as a player, Cole, how difficult is it? You went into the semifinal, you scored 3 goals, you're up 3-0, then you give up a couple of goals about a minute and 10 seconds apart. Mm-hmm. How hard is it as a player to just put that in the rearview mirror and just say, all right, let's just, let's get back to what we're doing. Because, subconsciously you got to be thinking, oh man, how'd they do that so fast? I mean, how hard is that to get over? I mean, not just in this situation, but in any game, when you give up a couple of goals that quick, how difficult is that to get back on track?
Yeah, I remember that, and it was a bit of a sort of like a knock on our momentum, but it's cliche, but we always kind of know in games like that we just got to stick to our game and what we do best. And that's, plain simple and just playing our game that we've played all year. And it definitely was a bit of like a heads up, like, all right, these guys can play and it's not going to be easy, which I think was also good for us because, we gotta be playing our best every game, and one game like that, especially semifinals, we could be done. So
yeah,
we just stuck to our script and played our game and finished it out.
And how nice is it to know that you had such a steady goaltender behind you, Cole, and Keegan Wise? I mean, he played monstrously in that.
Yeah, he played amazing. Yeah, it was unreal. I mean, I think in regionals and nationals, he went, I don't know how many games it was or how many periods it was that he went without a goal against them. And it definitely was a huge, like, I guess, weight off the shoulders, knowing that you got a guy back there that's going to save most of the pucks, and you can go on offense and be maybe a little bit more risky and make those plays because you know that your goalie is going to save most of them.
Coach, do you get much sleep the night before a championship game like that?
Honestly, yeah. I mean,
really?
Well, we were getting up so early every day. We had, as a coaching staff, we had a crazy. I guess we were superstitious. I was going to say we weren't, but we were getting up every day at like 4:30. We were going to work out, and then we were watching film all morning because these guys were sleeping until 9 o'clock, and then we'd get them together. But I think, honestly, we slept really well because we felt like we were playing the game the right way. We feel like a lot of teams that were there were just kind of showing up. I know they have systems in their games, but they were kind of leaving a lot to chance. And the biggest thing we talked about before the game as a coaching staff and the team was that there's a simplicity to our game that's effective, and we believe that the only way that we can give Oklahoma State a chance is if we wanted to go back and forth and trade chances with them all night. And that's not something that we wanted to do. And we felt like we were prepared, and even going into that, like you said, down 1-0, down 2-1, a long time in that game. It was something where, I mean, I feel like in years past there might be some nerves here and there, but it was a comforting feeling. I mean, the guys were pushing so hard, and the best part about it was, in hindsight, that it wasn't going our way. Like, we were getting chances, hitting posts, they weren't going in, and it was just so great to see these guys that throughout the year they were building on their game and believing in what was going on, and they stuck to it. And just, yeah, I mean, we slept great, and it's a good thing we did because there wasn't much sleep a few nights after that.
Yeah, I can vouch for that, boys. Cole, I got to thank you, number one, for letting me get a picture with you guys in the trophy. I don't know if you were one of those guys Tuesday night down in the casino, but if you weren't, tell them again. I said thank you for letting me get a picture taken with you guys with the trophy. That was so much fun. That was a thrill for me. Coach, I got to ask you, you know this. You filled the shoes of Bob Brinkworth, a guy who's brought in championships there and helped really build a program, and you've done admirably with it. How does it feel for you to be able to hoist that trophy as a head coach and now just doing the same things that he did?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great, but in that moment when we won, I mean, obviously there's exuberant joy for the boys and for the staff, but I mean, I got a text and a call from Bob Brinkworth the day of the game, and he was just wishing us great luck and giving us his full support. But in that moment when you win it, as much as we feel proud of ourselves, and we were able to take a moment to look back and be proud of ourselves as a coaching staff, don't get me wrong, but it was so much thinking about guys like Bob Brinkworth and Matt Maida and Mike Lindino and all the players that I played with at FGCU and all the people that came beforehand. I mean, this is my 13th year with the program, and from player to coaching, and there's so many guys that had their hands in this. And I'm sure players like Cole and some of the boys, it gets a little bit redundant when I tell them that, hey, like, you guys there's more than just you guys in this room, and they definitely understand it. And I mean, we're grateful that we were able to get it done, and I couldn't be more happy for these guys. I mean, they put in so much work, and we take a lot of pride in being a program that's had a ton of success over the last few years within the entire ACHA. And we take pride in the fact that we don't have it as made as other programs. I mean, our guys are paying a good amount in dues. We're only able to practice twice a week. I mean, I know there's a lot of actual ACHA club teams that are struggling with the same things that we are, but there's also a lot of high power teams that are getting treated extremely well. And we definitely take it as a bit of a learning curve and being able to push ourselves even further to have that chip on our shoulder and eventually get it done. But everybody that came before us is a big part in it, and Bob Brinkworth is a main one on that front.
And Coach, I think I know the answer to this question, but wouldn't you rather have it to where the teams are chasing you, looking for the program and the foundation that you've built over the years as a player and a coach? That's got to be something you're proud of when people want to play you, because you're one of the standard bearers in not just Division II, but all of them.
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing for us that people want to play us, and that's a big discussion when we're talking to players throughout the off season. And there's a ton of interest to come down here from a lot of different guys, whether it's junior leagues or NCAA transfers, you name it. But the big thing is they want to play the best, and if you come here, you're going to play the best. I mean, yeah. I think in the rankings the last 4 or 5 years, we've had top 2 or 3 strength of schedule every year, and we do that intentionally. I mean, we don't want to have a regular season that means nothing. We want to play the best, and that's where our guys get better. Like, sure, every now and then do they like the blowout win? They get to have a nice casual night, definitely. But I think as a coaching staff and as a team, as much as we hate losing, we would take more pride in learning from losing a game 3-2 in November than we do winning a game 12-1 kind of thing. So playing those better teams and having that high quality competition is what we strive for. And being able to have Bob build the program to where he has, that now it's to the point where he can turn it over to me a few years ago and be able to push this thing even further. It's really great.
So what's next for you, Cole? Are you coming back next fall, right, to defend the crown? Or
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 1 more year at least.
What are you going to school for?
Finance.
Oh, nice. I might need a finance guy. I just retired.
Maybe not that one. Maybe not Cole, but you can keep it.
Maybe in a few years.
All right. Well, I know I won't chase you around on the hockey rink. I mean, you're too quick for me, man.
It's actually real funny, Lou, real quick. I mean, yeah. all year Cole was, and Cole, you don't have to get your tires pumped too big here, but he wasn't scoring a ton of goals at times. He battled a lot of injuries and the pucks weren't going in. And going into that, you talked about the UNCW game at regionals. We go into that second period, and as relaxed as I might have seemed after the first period of that game, being down 1-0, I mean, we weren't very happy with the boys. And Cole comes out and scores a big goal early in the first period, and then the rest of the season from there, he was just filling the net, and we couldn't be more proud of this guy. I mean, he stepped up when it mattered most, and scoring 8 goals in that tournament is nothing to bat an eye at, and he should be real proud of himself.
How many text messages did you get, Cole, after getting that game-winning overtime goal?
Quite a few. I didn't have any service in the locker room, so I checked and there wasn't too many. But then once I got out, I was like, oh, okay, now they're all flooding in. But yeah, it's funny too because, Coach told me the whole year, I was battling some injuries and maybe not having my best season, but he told me all year, which is ironic. He said, you're gonna save them for a big moment. You're gonna save them for the national tournament. So that was pretty cool to hear and see it come into fruition. But
well, I appreciate you getting that good one because it gave me a thrill. There's nothing like calling an overtime goal in a championship game, and I'll forever remember that, Cole. So you'll be in my memory, and I appreciate that. So
you had a great call. Well, you had a great call. That's a conversation for another time, but you had a great call.
We'll do. Oh gosh, all I'm going to say is my wife is still pissed, but we won't go there.
Hopefully we can do another one for you next year.
Would that be great?
Yeah.
So, Coach, one last question for you, and I'll let you go. So were you on the phone recruiting at 12:02 Wednesday morning, or did you take a couple of days off? I mean, I know it's a 12-month-a-year job now,
It's a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails. We took a few days off to enjoy it for sure, but I mean, we're sorting through 50 or 60 guys right now. I mean, we're losing 9 players this summer, and we have a great core that's coming back. And I mean, we've lost a lot of guys a handful of summers over the last few years. And the biggest thing when we are bringing guys in is they just want to be a part of it. Like, and the guys that we have returning do a great job of molding them into that environment. And I think for so many guys that come down here, it's a breath of fresh air because they come from different areas where they're in the Northeast or the Midwest, and maybe they're not too happy playing hockey anymore. And they come to Southwest Florida where we have sunshine year round, and these guys are going to the rink in flip-flops every day. So we definitely took a few days off from the recruiting, but the last few weeks it's been a lot, and we're trying to stack this thing up to do bigger and better things for the next few years.
All right. Well, I know I put you guys through an overtime period being on this long tonight. I really do appreciate it. Cole Bauman, enjoy your summer. Congratulations on the huge goal and the championship trophy. And Coach Eric, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Enjoy your summer, and I look forward to catching up with you again in the fall. And just remember this, guys, in order to stay number one, you got to be number one, and that's where you're at right now. So congratulations, guys, and thanks for taking time out. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Will.
Yeah, thank you.